what's up? My name is Jimena, and today we're going to be talking about China not taking our garbage anymore and a couple of the geopolitical impacts of that. I don't know how to say it in less words, but that's what we're going to be talking about today. But before I get started, I just wanted to let you guys know that I will be posting once a week until the end of the year. Maybe on Wednesdays, maybe on Thursdays. We'll see. And sorry, one more announcement. Me and Darren launched our podcast and I'm super excited for it. It's called Talk Climate Change to Me. And it's us discussing climate change related issues. And we are going to be having guests on, and that's going to be posted every other Thursday as well. So I'm super excited for that. You guys should check it out. It will be available, the video version, here on YouTube, but it'll also be available on iTunes and Spotify if you just want to listen to the audio of it. And we will be doing a sticker giveaway with a little thank you card for your support. If you are following us on Twitter, I'll put both of our handles on here. So make sure that you do that so you can participate if you want. But without further ado, let's just jump into this video. So, starting in January of 2018, China decided that they would no longer accept imports of second-hand goods, aka art trash. Now, this is significant because since the 1990s, China was allowing imports of recycling from many developing countries. But when China closed its doors, Malaysia opened theirs, and they soon regretted it. A Greenpeace report found that the plastic waste exported from the US to Malaysia more than doubled in 2018 compared to 2017, making Malaysia the new dumping site for plastic recycling. And earlier this year, the Malaysian government announced that it would be sending back more than 3,000 tons of contaminated plastic waste to the countries that shipped it to them.
These containers were illegally brought in to the country under false declaration and other offences which clearly violates our environmental law. Through our investigation, we uncover a recycling factory, a recycling company in the UK has been a constant exporter of plastic waste to Malaysia for the past 2 years. They have cumulatively exported more than 1,000 containers, just one company alone, which amount to more than 50,000 metric tons of plastic waste from the UK. Just one recycling company in the UK, we get 1,000 containers for the past two years in our investigation. This is because this recycling company are dumping this, so what the citizen of the UK believe that they send for recycling is actually dumped in our country. And this is something that is very serious. And we do not only found this one company, we have found a few companies from different countries.
So in this video, we will be diving into the problems that led China to stop taking our trash, how Malaysia and other South Asian countries became the runner-ups, and how the US is adjusting to the change. So first up, let's talk about China. So starting in the 90s, China began importing recycling from other countries as a way to create new raw materials rather than extracting and creating new ones. Since China was such a large exporter of goods, they found it beneficial to send ships full of goods and then fill them with recycling for the way back, since, it had to be done anyways. And they did this for a very low price with very low standards for the materials that were shipped. While some in the media called this a sudden move, China had actually been signaling to ditch their title for world's recycler for some time. Starting in 2013, they started launching initiatives to block illegal imports of low-quality waste by launching initiatives like Operation Green Fence and National Sword, which sought to have customs crack down on more imports. But due to other countries' inability to abide by these new regulations, China had no choice but to ban imports altogether. From an economic perspective, the cost of labor was increasing and the demand for raw materials was falling, while some of these imports were having detrimental effects on the environment and the health of those living near the dump sites. China has consistently topped the list as the world's worst ocean polluter. In fact, a 2015 report found that 1/3 of all waste polluting the world's seas was coming from China. One of the main contributors to the problem was that recycling programs went from requiring consumers to separate paper, plastic cans, and bottles to a single stream system where all materials go in the same blue bin. This shift resulted in an increase of contamination and the creation of more complex packaging, with increasing additives, colors, and multi-layered compositions also made it more difficult to recycle. The influx of this trash devastated many communities and their way of life. China spawned entire towns devoted to recycling, and children were often subjected to dangerous working conditions and exposed to toxic materials as a result. One community was highlighted in Wang Juliang's acclaimed documentary, which was screened at the Sundance Festival, called Plastic China. This film triggered public anger in China and may have even played part in forcing Beijing to rethink its role in the waste industry. Wang, who had spent 3 years filming the documentary, told Chinese news outlet Beijing Global, I hope I said that right, that he had scars on his face from chlorins, a nasty skin condition caused by overexposure to certain chemicals that he developed while creating the film. So, since China stopped all imports of recycling, other South Asian countries were next in line. Malaysia and the Philippines have been two of the most outspoken countries who have rejected any more garbage from coming into their country, because while ideally, if we were only sending them recycling, they would be thriving, but we're sending them stuff that they can't reuse. We're polluting their land, air, and water. Malaysia's Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad had this to say: "It is grossly unfair for rich countries to send waste to poor countries simply because the poor countries have no choice. Maybe this contributes a little to their economy. This is going to be a problem for the whole world. We are producing too much waste, and you have a problem trying to get rid of the waste." And the largest part of this that sucks is that just because we stop sending them our trash does not mean we're done. Companies are literally just going down the list of countries that have not yet said anything and dumping their garbage there. And it's sad that we've been sending it to China for over 30 years, and after just a couple years, these countries are basically essentially saying, fuck this. And of course, it's not like they were not already importing recycling, but this is the large influx of the last 2 years is really what sent them over the edge. In fact, the president of the Philippines actually threatened war with Canada over the issue.
Why natin ang Canada? We'll declare war against them. Kaya man natin yan sila. Loaded the containers to a ship and advise Canada. I will advise Canada that your garbage is on the way. Prepare a grand reception. Eat it if you want to.
And this came after the Philippines had spent 6 years telling Canada to get their shit. So, how did the US government prepare for the ban that they clearly saw coming? Well, the same way that they plan on dealing with climate change. Wait until things get bad and then act surprised. Some recyclers began to look for alternative countries like Malaysia and Vietnam until they decided to tell US recyclers to fuck off because of the overwhelming influx of garbage they received. But overall, the price of recyclables dropped drastically, where they were previously selling mixed bales of paper for $155 a ton. Now they're barely $10. Stamford, Connecticut went from earning $95,000 from its recyclables in 2017 to paying $700,000 in 2018 to get rid of them. Prince George's County went from earning $750,000 from its recyclables in 2017 to paying $2.7 million in 2018 to get rid of them. Because these companies saw offshoring their garbage to China as spinning gold, they relaxed their standards for what they were sending over in order to increase profit and decrease their quality by streamlining their recycling into one bin rather than separating them into cardboard, plastic, metal, and whatnot. To trick the American people into thinking this was a cool, new, convenient way to recycle, when in fact it is literally the least effective way to recycle. And usually, if one person recycles their stuff without washing it or incorrectly places something in the recycling that wasn't meant to be there, they literally just throw it away. This is the fault of companies like Waste Management and Republic Services, who do both landfilling and recycling for many communities across the country, and now they're demanding rate increases to continue curbside recycling. The nerve! Oh my gosh! Across the country, counties have either stopped collecting certain items or stopped collecting recycling altogether. And in Philadelphia, they're now burning a bulk of their recycling in a waste energy plant, which is raising concerns about their air pollution. Because if you didn't know, the current administration has made efforts to roll back the Clean Air Act, which is very loose on its standards for clean air already. So there's a lot of questions on whether or not they'll actually take measures as far as their contributions to air pollution, because the laws are relaxed already, and if, they care to even follow that. Anyways, but according to a paper published in Science Advances in 2017, before China's ban, only 9% of discarded plastic was being recycled, while 12% was being burned. The rest ended up in landfills anyways. And when plastic is being transported to landfills abroad, some of it gets blown away into the ocean. Fun facts. So, in conclusion, China's decision to stop serving as the world's trash compactor forced a long overdue day of reckoning. The days of this illusion of China being our savior and just taking our garbage and giving us money for it are done. We need solutions. We need systematic change, and I have a whole video on real solutions to this problem. And while it would be great to think that if we just switched to a zero waste lifestyle, the problems of the world would be solved, that's not the case. For every virtue, there is an equal and opposite vice. And while the people who are pushing zero waste lifestyles into the mainstream are helping people rethink their waste, it's not enough. We need investment, and we need incentives for companies to care. Because at the end of the day, the largest polluters and contributors to this problem are not going to care unless it benefits them in some way. We need those who create the plastic to pay for it. But anyways, that is it from me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it and that I taught you something. Don't forget to check out our new podcast called Talk Climate Change to Me, available on YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify for your listening. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and go and hug a tree if you can. And have a great rest of your day. I don't know if I already said that, but yeah.